Hey guys, we're at MonsterCon in Baltimore.
She made that real clear in the beginning, but I have to tell you, Sean Cunningham, the director, was really, really smart, and he must have realized that we would bond if we were left alone. And so he made sure that we didn't eat together. He kept us separate, because he didn't want us to form any kind of bond at all. Which was great. I mean, I get it. And she just brought my game so far up. It's like playing tennis. It's like playing anything. You work off of each other, and man, she just would smash an ace every friggin' time, And I'm like, and eventually you either come up or you die, and I didn't want to die. I really didn't. And a couple of times during that scene on the beach, man, I thought one of us was going to end up seriously hurt because it was all real, and that's why it looks real. There's not a whole lot of acting when somebody's like smashing your head in the sand that you need to do. It's like real, and that's what acting is all about, is reacting. But in that case, it was seriously real, and we didn't see each other. Once that was done, and I offed her head. She possibly was miffed, but we didn't see each other, and I think we waved during the cast and crew screening. We didn't get to say too much to each other. I met her daughter there, that I remember, but it wasn't until 2004 that we met again. And it was at a convention in Chiller, and because there was no social media back then, I didn't know what she had gone through, all that trauma with Siskel and Ebert giving out her address, just calling her the worst of the worst actors, because she had really done some fine films with Henry Fonda, James Dean, and they just took her over the coals and raped her, and she suffered so much for that. And it wasn't until 2004 that we both got to share our stories, and she had no clue I had a stalker, so we kind of bonded over our misery of the aftermath of Friday the 13th, and we became so close that it was almost like mother and daughter. And I just have to say, the one thing that's really important for you all to know is that she had a hard time in the beginning. She really...
Anyone have questions? Raise your hands and shout them out so I can see you guys or hear you. All right, I've got one for Adrienne. You talked about just earlier feeling like Betsy was watching over you when you go back to camp. What was it like going back to Novi Bosco for the first time after all these years?
It's crazy. How many of you guys have had a chance to get back to camp? How crazy was that when you drive up there for the first time? Do you feel like you're 12 again? 13, 14? I felt like I was 21 again. I mean, it's seriously a whoosh. Came all right back to me. Had the same feeling. The place has not changed a night.
Really?
The Boy Scouts have kept it pristine and have finally been smart enough to embrace the fact that they can make a chunk of change out of all of us for the Boy Scouts, and then they share some of it with some neighboring camps. But it was wild. It was the experience for me on the first one. I forget all the crap, I forget how cold that water was. I forgot.
Well, maybe this room will remind you.
It's a little nippy, huh?
Oh my God.
But yeah, it was such a great experience going back there. I just relive all the good stuff, and the other stuff I can't even remember anymore. And the wildest part is when I left there, and I have a date book still because I don't, so many of you have heard this story, forgive me, but we kept on running out of money when we were shooting this movie. So after a while of like start and stop and start and stop and having to go, Sean Cunningham basically, every time he needed more money, which was a lot, he had to go and beg his investors, and so it took time, and shooting on film costs money. It's not like a video, you just pull out your camera and shoot. And then we needed the last scene of the movie. we started with one camera when it was like still very warm. The first week of shooting after Labor Day, needed 2 cameras, he said, to get the full effect in his mind. And I was very lucky. I didn't realize how lucky at the time. He let me watch the dailies with him, which is unheard of. But it was a gift again to me as a young actress. You learn right away what you're doing that's wrong or right, or what's working, your angles. So it was really another gift. And by the time we actually got to do the 3 cameras, including a slow motion camera, I have a date book, and all my jewelry and all the continuity Polaroids, they all say October 12th was the day, and it was a Friday. It was our last day of shooting. And it was 36 degrees outside, no wetsuits, no money for wetsuits, right? Very little film, and they were already setting as the sun was going up. And I know this because I still have a date book that I found with all of this information from 1979, because we ran out of money so much I didn't think we were going to finish the film. So I would collect all this stuff off the set, including there's notes from that I found from Sean Cunningham from the night we shot the beach scene, that whole the scene on the machete. So it was crazy, but when we all wrapped up, we didn't know if we had a movie, you know? And the next time I come, not only do we have a movie, it's 38 years later, and we have an audience watching the movie on the beach all together. Talk about surreal. Talk about a full circle. It was amazing, you know, and that was my first time. And every time I get back there, it's different and it's better. You know, they think of different things to come up with. We do photo ops on the beach, you know, with the canoe and the whole thing. And you can play with whatever part you want to play. You know? It's a lot of fun.
Over here and then over here.
How would your respective films have you all watched any of the other films?
And at the movie theater, and so it was a really cool night. And so it was part 1 and 2, and so I'm watching part 1, and I'm going like, I don't think I've ever seen it. It was so, and I went, oh my God, this is just like part 2. It was like the same people,
And I'm watching.
and the same, like, it was all the exact same with the formula.
And then I'm watching part 2, and I never made it past. So I'm watching part 2, and I'm going, God, it's so similar to the first one. And then I'm looking at the shrine at the end, and I'm going, what's that in the corner there? That's impossible. How would Jason ever? Was that a robe she had on, or what was that? I mean, I never got how that was supposed to work out, but the answer is no.
I've seen 3.
Oh, I have 2. No, I have. This is Richard Brooker, yes. I have, and Joey Zito's part 4, I think I've seen clips of, but honesty's best policy. But I have seen a great Thing film recently. I don't think you've seen it yet.
I haven't seen it.
But I just heard it's really worth watching. That's all I know. But with Jason Rising.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you seen that? Anybody in here? On YouTube. It's some guy, the guy who directed that, I think was involved in this too. And then, but you got to watch it all the way to the end for the payoff. Is all I can say. But it's worthy of a watch. Am I correct? Those of you who have seen it. Yeah.
It's a double payoff at the end, right?
I don't know. Is it? I'll have to watch it. Anyway.
Just embrace everything.
Right? We're so good together, aren't we?
Well, that was actually kind of be my question, but I do have another one as well. Outside of the Friday films, since you guys have only seen a few of them, is there any horror film that you're a big fan of at all?
I just want to say that I stopped seeing horror films after The Exorcist.
Now that's the one that took me into.
I remember I was probably 15, and I went with this guy, and I'm like, yeah, man, let's go see this film. He was a cute guy. I really loved him. And then he was so scared. I ended up like really hating him, but I was scared too. But yeah, that movie just killed me. Just killed me.
I have to tell you something that's so bizarre is that I actually like a lot of George Romero films and but The Exorcist kept me from watching anything to do with horror until I worked on Friday the 13th because Tom Savini was so wonderful. He allowed me to come into his studio and show me the special effects. Well, that's how I watch my horror films. I watch them from that point of view. And it took all the scare, and now it kind of ruined it for me in terms of being scared, but it helped me a lot because now I watch The Exorcist and I laugh. I mean, the special effects are pretty sad, you know, but in the day, oh my God, I was like this, you know. And
It's the build-up.
yeah.
You know, it's not even the effects. Yeah, I mean, I guess you can kind of get used to people sawing each other in half. But, you know, it's like that time where like, I can't stand Larry David sometimes. Because I know any minute now it's going to be so horrible and embarrassing what he's going to do. So it's that kind of anticipation that gets me.
Red sunglasses?
Yeah, I was wondering if either of you had seen 13 Fanboy, and were either of you involved in that? Because I thought I heard that Adrienne was going to be, but then
I was, but that script was way too close to home for me. It was too personal. It got too, I could not do it. But I am a huge, listen, I hope Deborah Voorhees does. She's very passionate and very talented, so I wish her all the best. And plus, look at the people she's brought together for us. So I give her a lot of kudos for that. And you know, carrying through filming during all of this craziness and getting the post done, and I think it's coming out soon, isn't it?
next month.
Oh, right. I can't wait to see
They've had
that.
they've had a screening or two of it.
Have they?
Yeah.
Did
that's
you
why I
see
was
anything?
wondering. I haven't, no. But I know they did. She did a screening of it.
Whoever that was, you went for the funniest moment. Was there a question? I don't remember.
That was pretty good.
All right, now that I've caught my breath.